this week's episode of our podcast. Today we are going to interview some of the greatest and most influential minds in our field. By sharing our collective expertise, we will show you how to harness, control, and use your own skill set to achieve ultimate success and live the life you want. And now, please welcome your host. Audio Hub Preview.
Hello, and welcome to the Mind-Blowing Happiness Podcast, featuring acclaimed author, coach, and speaker Trisha Roberts, bringing you inspiring topics, fascinating guests, and creative tips to help you slay self-doubt and limiting beliefs so you can juice up your life's journey and find mind-blowing happiness. Not only can you attain mind-blowing happiness, you absolutely deserve it. You can find out more at TrishaJellRoberts.com. Let's see how we can juice up your life's journey today.
Hello, and welcome to the Mind-Blowing Happiness Podcast. This is your host, Trish Ajel Roberts, and today we're talking to theater actress and TikTok influencer, Mona Swain. And I've known Mona since she was like 10 years old, so it's like, for me, it's like amazing watching her grow up. So welcome, Mona. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great. So first off, I think a lot of people would love to hear how you got started on TikTok.
Yes. I started TikTok about halfway through my freshman year of college. I felt like I kind of got thrown into atmosphere where I felt really out of place and kind of felt like an oddball a little bit. So I kind of felt like I needed a way to just release all of this creative energy and this big personality that I had that, you know, didn't really mesh well with the people that I was around. And I just started posting videos on TikTok. And I got a chance to connect with a lot of people who are interested in the same things that I'm interested in. And it kind of made my big personality and my big mouth not seem so weird and annoying.
I know. It's funny. I was one of those kids when I was growing up. I was always getting in trouble for talking too much, you know, and at the time it was like it was a bad thing. And then you realize, wait a minute, that's what people who are, you know, on film and in front of people do. They talk a lot. Mm-hmm. However, I will say this podcast, I'm trying to reduce the length because I talk too much. So our topic today is self-love for young women. And in my book, 12 Steps to Mind-Blowing Happiness, I talk about the 4 pillars of self-love. So I figured we could kind of combine them and make them into like 3 good talking points. And I would love to get your input on each one of them.
Yes.
So we're going to give some self-love tips. So the first one that I would say to young women is to figure out what you're good at and figure out really who you are. You know, I think that age that you're talking about, you know, high school and the early college years, you know, early 20s is when you're really trying to figure out who you are, like what you like and what you don't like and what you're good at and what you want to spend your time doing. There's a term that's been getting tossed around. I use it a lot as a coach, which is to figure out what your superpowers are. Okay. And your superpowers are like the things that you really love doing that you also do well. So it can't be like, you know, you really love to sing, but you are no good at it. Mm-hmm. So what do you think about that? And what do you think are your superpowers?
Yeah, I feel like for the longest time, what was holding me back from being the best version of myself was focusing on the things that I was not good at. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at this, especially going into acting and theater like I am now. It's like, well, I have to be better at this. I have to be good at this instead of just honing in on the things that I was really great at. Like I'm a really great singer. I think I have a really great stage presence. Like, even if I'm not necessarily the best dancer on stage, like I know how to pull focus and entertain so that it distracts me from what I may not be doing great. And yeah, I think I work well with people. And that also helps in working with a brand new group of people every time I do a new show, you know? So those are 3 really great things that I think are my superpowers that I wish I kind of just focused on sooner because I spent like all of my high school years just being like, I'm so bad at this, I'm so bad at this, I'm so bad at this, instead of being like, I am so great at so many other things. So.
That is such a good point though, because that's just true. Like a lot of times we focus on the things that we're not doing well, as opposed to really honing in on the things that we're really good at. Mm-hmm. They even have, this is a little bit of an aside, but there's something called a negativity bias, which is just kind of human nature, where like, say you go through your day and everything goes great that day, but then one really bad thing happens, like somebody yells at you in the grocery store. It's like at the end of the day, you'll focus on the person yelling at you at the grocery store. Like that'll be the thing that you remember instead of really focusing on the positive. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think for me, my superpower, I have been told, is bringing people together, like gathering groups together. And like you, I love people, so I love meeting new people and connecting with new people as well. So yeah, so that's definitely like becoming self-aware, and being able to use that self-awareness as like, I guess like a superpower, but also kind of like a weapon, you can really use it to get the things that you want. And then the other thing I would say is when you're on stage, like people can see how much you're enjoying yourself. And it's infectious, Do you have any shows that you know of coming up?
I don't have any shows that I'm in right now. I'm kind of taking the summer to focus on some other things. I do have an audition for one of my favorite musicals of all time this coming Tuesday, which is literally the only thing that's been on my mind the last week or so. So fingers crossed for that one, but no for sure projects right now. No. Okay,
so you can't tell us your favorite musical of all time?
Oh, it's Pippin.
Oh, okay. All right, well, we're going to send out good energy for Tuesday.
I love Pippin. It's one of my favorite musicals of all time. I'm so excited to audition for it. So yeah.
All right, that's exciting. Okay. Oh, and the other thing that I would, the other thing about superpowers, and you're already doing it and I'm already doing it, which is even if you pursue a career path that's not exactly like your passion, you should still have something that allows you to, focus on, whether like for you, it was singing and performing. But I would say like, even if you took another career path, I would still want you to be singing and performing some way, just for your personal joy, so that you can express yourself. All right, so we're going on to the second tip. So the first one was self-awareness, figure out who you are and what you're good at. And the second one is find your authentic voice. So I love the story that you told about being in college and, not quite feeling like you were fitting in, and then finding this path. So how do you think you really did that? Like, how'd you get the kind of courage? Because to me, that takes some courage.
Yeah, I feel like specifically for the years of between like 2019 until like the beginning of this year, I feel like I just had so many drastic life changes. So, and one thing that from a lot of the projects that I was working on over those last couple of years was one thing that I would, when I was just confiding in people, it would be like, like I get so worried because I feel like there are 500 girls that look just like me who could sing as well, dance as well, act as well, do anything as well as me. So what makes me any more special? And so over the course of these couple of years, like I've learned to figure out what that is, what makes Mona different than just some other 21-year-old girl who does the exact same thing that I do. And there's a lot that I know that I offer, or that I've discovered that I can offer as me, that makes me different than someone who looks just like me and does the same thing that I do. It was a lot hard. I feel like the first thing you have to do is come to terms with realizing that I don't know who I am. Right. I feel like it's easy for you to like be like, oh yeah, I know exactly who I am. But when you realize that you really don't know who you are, then you start to figure out who you are. Right. That's what I did.
I love that. When you figure out that you don't know who you are, you can start finding out who you are. That's so true. And even, at my age, I'm like mom age, you're like baby, age. But even at my age, I'm still learning things about myself. Like I didn't know I liked being on video until the pandemic when everybody started doing video. And I was like, oh, I can do this. This is fun. Whereas other people hate it. Like sometimes I try to get people to come on and they're all like, no, I don't want to be on video. So it's definitely something that's ongoing throughout your life. So that was kind of 2 steps in one, or 2 pillars of self-confidence, because it was really of self-love, I meant, because it's really around authenticity, feeling like you know yourself enough to show up as yourself, and then the confidence to actually do it, Yeah. Because I think the thing that people, well, I don't know what other people love, but like when I watch your TikToks, what I love so much, besides the fact that you're hilarious, and like you give 1,000%. So like if you're like the one, I think it went viral where you just like dropped to the floor.
Yes.
I was like, did she really just kill herself? You know what I mean? I was like, that sounded like a loud thump. Like you really landed like that on the floor? Or did you use special effects? Like, what did you do?
No, it definitely sounded louder on camera than I think. I did not hit the ground that hard. Everyone asked in the comments, like, are you okay? Like, it sounded really loud on the camera. I did not hit the ground that hard at all.
And for you guys, I'll try to put the link to that in the show notes so you can see that little clip. But yes, it was like you totally committed. And then also, somebody told me many years ago that our beauty is in our imperfections. So I think like when we allow ourselves to be kind of the goofball weirdos that we sort of all are secretly inside, that's what people are really attracted to. All right, so the 3rd tip, and I know a lot of people struggle with this, is learning to say yes to the things that you want and no to the things that you don't. And it's really, creating healthy boundaries for yourself, teaching people how to treat you. Do you want to comment on that? How do you do with saying no?
Now, learning how to say no is definitely still something I am working through even today. I think what has given me the confidence to learn how to put those healthy boundaries is like, I feel like I can get very overwhelmed when I get really, really busy. And so as much as I want to do everything, as much as I want to help everyone, sometimes I do just kind of have to say, like, at the end of the day, I know that I will not be able to give 100% focus to something. I would rather give 100% to one thing than give 70 to 3 things. So if I know it's not something that I can give 100%, so I know I'm not going to be happy with it, that's when I'm like, I feel comfortable enough to say no. And even still, like I'm still running around like a chicken with their head cut off, trying to do a million different things because I've said yes to so many things. But I just have to be like, I like to give 100% in everything I do. And to some extent, like if I'm doing too much, I'm not going to be able to give 100%. So that is how I've been trying to calm myself down from not being too upset about saying no to something.
Right. Or not feeling guilty.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's only so many hours in the day. And you have to make sure that you're carving out time for rest, to get sleep and to take care of yourself and to do things that you enjoy and, have time with your mans and stuff. Have your free personal time,
Right.
And the flip side of that is not just being able to say no, but being able to say yes to the things that you want. Because sometimes, like, I don't know, I coach people, right? And sometimes I'll have a client where maybe they want to take a trip and they could totally afford it, but they feel guilty, so it's also the reverse of that, being able to say yes to the things that you want in your life.
Yeah.
So that was it. That was the 3 tips that I had. I'll repeat them back real quick. The first one was to figure out who you are and what you're good at, and then to kind of drill into your superpowers. The second is to find your authentic voice, which requires a little bit of confidence. And then the third was learning to say yes to the things that you want and learning to say no to the things that you don't want. What else would you share as like, as an amazing young woman that has a lot of people who look up to you? What else would you share with young girls or young women? First, self-love or self-care, does anything
Yeah, it's just that loving yourself frees you from so many things. And like once I realized that oh my gosh, I don't just like myself, I love myself. Like so many things that were holding me back and so many things that I just used to pester myself about just kind of disappeared. And like you don't even realize how much weight and how much negativity you're carrying when you don't really authentically love yourself, you know. And another thing is that it's a lot harder said than done. It does take the self work. It does take the patience.
I'm glad you said that.
But when you get there, oh my gosh,
it's so true. And it doesn't mean perfection. You know, it doesn't mean you're conceited. It's just that you have grace with yourself. Yeah. You know, when you make mistakes, you say, oopsie. Like,
totally normal. Exactly. It's like the world is not going to fall apart because I made this mistake, or like I'm not going to fall apart because I made a mistake, you know? It's just, because we all make mistakes. I make 3 mistakes a day. But we keep it moving, you know?
Well, the thing is, if you're not making mistakes, it's because you're not doing anything.
Exactly.
You know, like if you're sitting on the sofa watching Netflix all day, I mean, it's hard to make a mistake unless I don't know, you sit on the remote control or something. Another one that I like to share, it's just having some kind of gratitude practice, you know, because like what I was talking about with the negativity bias before, like a lot of times it's so easy to focus on the stuff that you don't like, you know, like my mom's driving me crazy, or my boyfriend's driving me crazy, or the job doesn't pay me enough, or all the things that you don't like. And just having some kind of gratitude practice helps you focus on the things that you do like. Whether you like at the end of the day, write down 3 things that you're grateful for, or I like to keep a list of like daily wins. And it's so fun to go back and look because I forget, you know, like, you know, it could be, there are just so many things, but like this film that I have coming up, like it was so random, you know, but the moment that happened, I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. So just, you know, keeping like bigger things like that, but then little things, you know, I got a new client, let me write it down, you know, so all of those things are exciting. And then there's, well, I don't know, do you have any more tips that you like?
Ooh, any more tips? I don't know. I think another thing is that I have stopped apologizing for existing.
That's a good one.
Yes, and so that is something that I am. It is a kind of like something I'm trying to even teach my little sister right now, who kind of sometimes doesn't necessarily feel comfortable just existing and being in her person. You know, it's like I'm here, and I'm not just here. Y'all gonna know I'm here. You know, so long I've just kind of like apologized for just simply just living life and making these mistakes and just being me, or just standing and just waiting for things, you know. But you know, it's like watching like my little sister kind of like go through the same kind of awkward stage that I went through, trying to teach that to myself. It's like now I kind of like can know to teach her the things that I learned, so maybe that she won't have to go through as long as I
she can get the express version.
Exactly. I'm giving her all the cheat codes.
Yeah, that's so sweet. Another thing I was thinking about, which we touched on a little bit, is self-talk, the way that we talk to ourselves. So I always tell people that your self-talk should be kind and empowering. So like one of the things that I like to say is if you are in the habit of saying, I can't do this, I can't do that, to change it to I will or I won't. Because you can do whatever you want. You're deciding whether or not you're willing to put in the effort, like you said, and show up 1,000%, you know? Yeah. So that's good. She must be so happy to have you as a big sister.
Yeah, she's pretty lucky if you ask me, you know. She's great.
All right. Well, thank you for having this conversation with me. This was amazing. So let our listeners know where they can find you and follow you and stay connected.
Yes. At Mona Swain, pretty much on everything: Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Yeah, that's it.
Mona Swain all over the media. I love it. All right. So I encourage you guys to take the time to get to know and love yourself especially if you're a young woman. Now is the time. I encourage you all to follow Mona. She's hilarious. Thank you for having this conversation with me. And I hope everybody enjoyed today's episode of the Mind Blowing Happiness podcast. You can visit my website, trishajelroberts.com, and hit the Start Here button to schedule a free 30-minute coaching session with me. Or you could sign up for the Mind Blowing Happiness Circle that takes place every month on the 12th at noon. And you can also download my book club Leaders Guide there. So I wish you all passion, purpose, and the realization of your fullest potential. Enjoy the rest of your day, and may your journey be juicy. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed the Mind Blowing Happiness podcast with Trisha Roberts, teaching the 12 steps to mind blowing happiness to 12 million people over the course of 12 years. Make sure to visit trishajelroberts.com and take the pledge for a juicier life's journey and get your copy of the free ebook, The Mind Blowing Happiness Guide to Self-Care. If you have any questions about the content of this podcast, email hello@trishajelroberts.com. Until the next time we meet, may your journey be juicy.
Audio Hub Preview.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. We have the pads, rotors, drums, shoes, and brake fluids to improve your stopping power. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with a set of Duralast brake pads. Missing a tool? Ask about our free Loan-A-Tool program and borrow the tools you need to get the job done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2021. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool.
Hi, hon. It's me. We're still in Greenville, South Carolina, and it's gorgeous here. So many restaurants and stores, and amazing downtown. The kids will love it, and it's a breeze to get here. Wait till you see.
Plan your trip at visitgreenvillesc.com.
All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the Psychology of the Hustle podcast. If I sound rushed, baby, I am, because we is getting ready to give y'all jam-packed.
We're about to get into it.
Just about to jump. I mean, so if you pause, if you need to go get something, go get it now, because we getting ready to go in. I'm talking about, this is a much needed session. Okay. Y'all need this. So Nikki, any touch points?
No, I'd just like to thank everybody for being here today and listening to us. And let's get into it. Let's go, Kim.
Okay, so we have been talking about this all season. You know, you don't know what you know until you know it. So we've been talking about imposter syndrome for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks now. And so we're just going to jump into it. First, you got to know the beast. You got to call it by its name. So we'll give you a short definition of the imposter syndrome. It's also known as perceived fraudulence. It involves feelings of self-doubt and personal incompetence that persist despite your education, your experience, and your accomplishments. To counter these feelings, you might end up working harder or holding yourself to a higher standard. I also want to note, you guys, this is not a mental illness. This is not something that is associated with a mental illness. It is really a shared experience. It is a phenomenon. It happens to most people, like pissing.
Everybody has had it once or twice or continue to have it in their life.
Okay. All right. So it occurs, and again, in most of us. So, you know, for me, I feel like imposter syndrome is just always this, something is on my heels, but I cannot tell you what it is. And 9 times out of 10, it's me on my own heels. And so that's kind of what I think of when I think of imposter syndrome. I'm going to flip it to Nikki. What are your thoughts on that definition?
Yeah, I think that, you know, the formal definition, a lot of us have heard of it. A lot of you may have heard it. People talk about imposter syndrome or heard it like in the media, referenced in the media. And a lot of it, I feel like in the media is referenced towards women. It's you mainly hear, you know, women talk about, especially in the workforce, you know, about how they feel like they don't deserve to be in the position that they are in, that they are fraud or fake. Like somebody gonna find out that it's wrong. The skills and stuff that they have, everybody else has, right? So some of you, and it's not just to women. I think it's just women because we talk about it. But I know there's some men out there, and there's a lot of men, most men out there have gone through this, but they never really identified it. And since most men traditionally don't really talk about, how they're feeling, or if they feel like inadequate in a certain area of their life, they're not necessarily going to talk about it, but it's there, and we're here to listen and to talk about it. So yeah, I think the definition is right. I mean, to put it in layman's terms, it's really like you feel like, well, shit, I'm not that special. Anybody could do what I'm doing, right? Anybody has the same skills, or even to take it a step further, a lot of success is attributed to, well, I just worked really hard. I just worked, extra hard, and that's what really got me to it. Rather than acknowledging that your skills and ability and your talent, your personal God-given talents were the reason why you got to your success. We never really say, I'm the shit, So I think that's kind of where it shows up. And so for those of you who may be kind of confused about it, it's really that simple. It's really like, I just worked harder, but it's more than that.
I'm going rogue. I am going to go rogue.
There we go.
Fuck it. I said we've got to fuck it. We not on the time schedule. We don't do this. Do you think, Nikki, that some of how maybe we're reared up, because I agree with you. I think that imposter syndrome, women do talk about it more, but do you think it's because how we're raised? Girls of our generation, geriatric millennials, go back and reference that. We were kind of raised in such a way to not necessarily, for me, be boisterous. There was, like, oh, you need to downplay yourself. Oh, you can't be conceited because that's not See, this is why we're going to have to give y'all a whole nother season on this imposter syndrome, because I'm going rogue. Okay. Now, Nikki can say, put a pin in that and we're going to come back to that, or she can expand upon that. But I just had to get that out there. I had to get that off.
It's so funny because as I prepared for this episode, that is one of the questions that I wrote down for in later discussion. So we simpatico in here. Y'all ain't ready. So the question back to you is, why is it that we feel bad for hyping ourselves up? It's almost like a societal thing to say you feel bad for being what they call quote unquote boisterous about the stuff that you've done, right? It's become a negative thing. You really don't. You feel a certain kind of way, like inside, like, oh, you downplay. I'm just doing this. I'm just writing this little book. I mean, everybody does that. Rather than I wrote this dope ass book. This is it. You guys are going to love it. Just to be confident in the thing or product or service or whatever it is that you're putting out there. We almost feel like we just have to downplay it just enough to make the other person feel comfortable. Like we're not being conceited. Right. But to quote my father, God rest his soul, he used to say, I'm not conceited, I'm convinced. Oh. Drop that mic. He was convinced.
Girl, I'm about to bust out.
And he was convinced. But my dad was always like, he was a very strong man, but he was very convinced in his, and we always used to talk about, his appearance, physical appearance. He would get manicures, pedicures, facials, he was a pretty boy. He was convinced that he looked good. Like it wasn't conceited. Like but to circle that back, so putting that question back on you, Kim, why is it that society that we feel like we can't be our own cheerleaders, or why do we have to downplay our success to make other people feel like we're not being conceited? And why is being conceited, quote unquote, always looked at as being negative?
I think,
or confident.
I think it's one of those situations where it's the feedback. What is the purpose you're trying to get back? And so when you're conceited, you're needing somebody to co-sign that. When you're convinced, it's a statement. And so when
wait, say that again. When you are conceited, what is it?
You're seeking gratification from others. See, this is why when I go back and I edit these things, you all, these one-liners that y'all get ready to get plastered on t-shirts, plastered on mugs, because these one-liners come and then I can't give it to you again. Because I know that's not what I said the first time around. The first time around, it was smooth because I was a pimp in my former life, baby. But in this one, it just come. See, pimps be able to regurgitate that.
Yeah.
That was my former self coming out, y'all. Anywho, but when you are being conceited, you're trying to actually convince other people, or you're trying to get that co-signer from other people. But when you know it for yourself, you know it for yourself. It's a statement. It is a statement. It's a statement. And so
no response required.
Period. Pooh, as the young people would say. It's one of those situations where it's just, I am certain as the breath that is in my lungs. I am certain as I am right-handed. I am certain that this thing is real and true. And when you come at people with that level of energy and confidence, it is so unsettling for those that have not experienced that. So we downplay that in an effort to make people comfortable in our confidence. I'm about to bang on the wall.
We downplay. Yeah, we dim our stars. We dim our light in order to make other people confident or comfortable. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's kind of one of the things that, when we go into combating imposter syndrome is just, you can't do that. And it's so easy to tell somebody, right? It's so easy to say, but to actually live it, it takes practice. Takes practice.
Practice, perseverance, patience. Keep playing with us, y'all. Keep playing with us. Y'all gonna get a whole season on it because it's real. I will go back to, this is a shared experience. So you may not necessarily be experiencing it in your hustle side of your life, but a lot of times, because that is what this portion of this podcast is about, the hustle, I feel like you're going to see it in other areas. So you might be listening to it like, nah, I got this hustle thing on lock. This is a gem for season 2. Some of y'all is in relationships that y'all don't
feel imposters in. Yeah.
Some of y'all is like doubting yourselves as parents, as caregivers. Okay. So we coming for y'all, season 2. Just wait. Just wait. Tell your friends. Get some tissue.
But it is those things. And just to real quick touch on what Kim was, piggyback off what Kim was saying, it's just really, so mothers, you have mothers who feel like imposters. They're not being the best mother, or, on Instagram, Facebook, it looks like, your kids getting everything they need, but we're at home. It's just, your house might be a mess. Everybody's house is a mess, girl. Everybody's house is a mess. It's all a facade. In a relationship, you may not feel like you have found this woman or this man that you don't deserve, but why don't you deserve that? You know what I mean? So those are the things, those questions that you start questioning yourself. So those are how imposter syndrome shows up in those different areas of your life. But one thing I wanted to touch on real quick, Kim, and I'm about to get deep on you, so get ready. Get ready. So this whole idea of like imposter syndrome, imposter experience, or however they framed it, came from a lady named Pauline Rose Clance. She did a study. Undergraduates didn't believe that they should have been there, that it was pure luck that they were able to get into the prestigious school. But after she kind of did some research, she kind of looked at the fact that, everybody had this feeling. However, it did show up a lot more in people in minorities, right? So how do you think our history, so I'm going to just talk about Black people, African Americans.
How does our history tie into minorities in their development of the imposter syndrome, or why we are found to have it more than others? And I think to me, I'm not going to sit here, and I am not a history buff, but I can tell you like instances in time. I mean, like segregation, that's, okay, it goes back to part of it. It all goes back to slavery. Not to sound like that one show that I like on Netflix that's not paying us, so I'm not going to say the name. Anywho, it's one of those situations where, history does play a very large role into it, but it is totally failing me. Where minorities were getting into schools over Caucasian folks, and Caucasian folks were losing their shit. What was the name of that? I cannot remember the name.
Now you made me forget. Y'all know what I'm talking
about. Okay, and we'll reference it.
They still do it when, they talk about when they get jobs, when minorities get jobs over white people.
Right. And so I feel like that kind of came into play. Now, me going to a historically Black college, I didn't necessarily think about that. And I feel like that helped me go into the workforce fearless, because everybody at my school was Black. So it wasn't like it's one person getting a opportunity over another person. And for those of y'all that want to have that colorism conversation, we're not going to have that right now. Most historically Black colleges, you in there because you in there, and your competition is your competition. And it's not necessarily, I never had that thought like, oh, did such and such get this because, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we were all on a leveled playing field in my mind. And so I was able to attack education and knowledge in such a way to where no one had an unfair advantage due to race, or no one had an unfair advantage due to their dad being a judge or their mom being a doctor or whatever. Mm-hmm. But for me, it was one of those situations where our history, our upbringing, our history as a people plays into imposter syndrome. Our experiences as individuals tie into imposter syndrome as well.
Yeah. And so I would just say also, we, in previous episodes, we kind of talked about how our parents were taught to get a job and,
affirmative action.
There you go. She got it. She had to look it up. Yeah,
I got ready to Google it.
We ain't had our full cup of coffee yet. Yeah, we still.
All right, I'm sorry.
But now our parents were taught, you get a job, go into the military, you retire from that job and all of that stuff. And that's things. And it's almost like put your head down, be quiet, and, do good,
mm-hmm.
Do your best. But it's almost like some of that confidence, mm-hmm. you didn't always hear grandparents and stuff, talk big about great things that they were doing, ideas that they may have had, it's just because they knew that some of their counterparts or white counterparts or whatever during that era would try to take it down or tear them down for
mm-hmm.
it. So they would hold that close to the vest and then just live through the dream rather than actually living the dream. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that can play a part in, how we roll.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kim said, it's about upbringing can play a part in this, your self experiences, and then a history of your culture, and not just, African Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, anybody, there's been a time in history that I've kind of taught that particular group to think a certain way. And then that keeps, that just trails along until you identify it, but it's still affecting us all up until now. So that was just kind of one little tidbit I wanted to jump on.
Nikki touched base on how history, the article that I read, which is going to be referenced, it's a Time article. They talked about patterns of people that really kind of struggle with imposter syndrome more. And I just want to throw this out there because I want to normalize this for as many people as I can. So they say perfectionists set extremely high expectations for themselves. They will oftentimes struggle with imposter syndrome. Experts. I am, for my particular job, the children's system of care administrator. I am an expert in children. I have no children. People is doubting me from the jump, but experts feel the need to know every piece of information before they start a project and constantly look for new certifications or trainings to improve their skills. If that don't sound like me, I stay in the training. People who are natural geniuses, people who just catch stuff naturally, they feel a guilt for having that natural skill set, and they will oftentimes downplay that. I met someone who could read a book a day. I was like, you should lead with that. That is some shit. Hey, my name is such and such, and I can read a book a day. I'd be like, what? What did you read today?
I want to pause real quick right there. And it's funny because how kids can catch on to that really quickly, right? So my daughter's in first grade and she catches on to things very quickly, and trying to make sure that she continues to keep that confidence and not feeling bad because maybe some of her friends or her classmates aren't catching on. I don't want her to, it's like that thing you have to battle, even that young, about not downplaying the fact that if you're smart, it's okay to be smart. It's okay to jump on quickly. So that's the thing we struggle with. Go ahead.
For all the TT's babies that are out there, y'all are the smarts, the beautiful. And if anyone says different, you know how to get in touch with TT. Okay. Right. They had two more, and they noted one as soloists. People feel they have to accomplish tasks on their own, and if they need to ask for help, they think that means they are a failure or a fraud. We coming for y'all, season 2, soloists. Brace yourselves, because y'all are in relationships with people who want to share stuff with y'all, but y'all want to be soloists. I'm just saying, okay. And then supermen, superwomen, super person, if we just want to throw that out there. They push themselves to work harder than those around them to prove that they're not imposters. They feel the need to succeed in all aspects of life. How you gonna have it all, sir or ma'am or other?
Yes.
At work, as parents, as partners, and may feel stressed when they are not accomplishing something. So again, I guarantee that the majority of folks listening fall in one of these areas. So again, this is a shared experience. This is something that we need to normalize and we need to talk about. So we kind of talked about where does imposter syndrome show up and show out. And this is where I said I was going to say everywhere. That's all that's it. Everywhere, everything, every place. I mean, Nikki, what are your thoughts on that one?
Oh, yeah, we feel it. It may be stronger in certain areas of your life, right? So, just depending on where you feel more confident in, it may not show up as prevalent, in something in your abilities, let's just say in your 9 to 5. But then your side hustle, you may be like, Lord, I'm not that good. So I will say that for me, I'm going to use myself as an example. So I feel really confident in my 9 to 5, right? I feel that I know my job. I know my shit. I know I am the shit. I do my job and I do it well. Mm-hmm. But then when it comes to things like, I know when I started off being a business coach, really diving into it, it was that I don't know if I'm saying anything that's really just dynamic to anybody. You can get this information anywhere. You can do this, I see somebody else doing it better than me. I don't know if I'm doing this right. And I did feel like there were times and still times that I feel like, I might be a fraud. They don't get, I am a fraud. I am not as good as people maybe perceive. And that's part of that syndrome. Like, even though I may have colleagues and friends that are telling me that you're doing a good job, you're actually doing a good job. It's like, I don't believe them. So for people, that's one of the ways to identify if you are working with or struggling with imposter syndrome, is if you don't even believe what people are telling you, right? It's just like, nah, I just put on a good face. And that's it. So, but then and it shows up, like Kim said, in every aspect of life. But for me, it was really that side hustle was really a struggle for me, which I continue to do, but I have found ways to kind of counteract that and build up my own confidence, right?
Right. And so like, that's the part we want to move into now, is like, how do you combat that? Because again, if this is a shared experience and most people are having this shared experience, then there has to be some pretty common ways that we move past and combat imposter syndrome, because it's something that's going to come around. So the article that I read, the Time article, which will be referenced in the Cliff Notes, mindfulness, they really talked about, to overcome feelings of imposter syndrome, you need to acknowledge the thoughts and put them in perspective. And so sometimes it means just sitting down with that thought and going, you know what? I've worked hard to get here. I have the skill set to be here. I am knowledgeable. I am competent. Sometimes you have to combat that thing. And I am a visual person. So when my little monsters come up against me, they look like that big Michelin Man tire. And then when I talk to it and I, give it some combat, it looks like a little marshmallow. And then I want to put that thing on a s'more, okay, and eat it up, okay? That's how my mind works.
Reference.
Yes, y'all better get y'all some.
80s babies.
Y'all better get y'all some. That was a good soundtrack.
Oh man, I guess we're gonna have to take our time. Okay, sorry. Y'all remember BB Brown. Okay, so on that same point, what are your thoughts about affirmations? Because that's kind of what you're talking about, right? It's about like affirming certain things. So I'm gonna let you answer, and then I'm gonna say what I think about affirmations. Do they work?
I think they do. And it's really hard to talk to yourself positively if you have never really been poured into. It sounds foreign. The first time you hear it, I was just having this conversation yesterday. It's like a feral cat. Okay. If I have neighborhood cats and for whatever reason, they like me and I am not a cat lady, I'm not a cat person, but needless to say, like they rub up against me and they're hissing yet purring at the same time. And I'm like, you psychotic little freak, what's wrong with you? Well, it's foreign, but it's not bad. It's foreign, but it doesn't hurt. It just feels weird. And so sometimes when you're giving yourself positive affirmations, it's cringy, as the young people would say. It's like, am I that bad to where I have to tell myself I'm a great? Well, initially, yeah, you are. Your negative cognitions or that negative feeling, that negative thing is so deep and heavy on you. Yes, it's going to feel weird saying like, you're dope. Why are you depriving the world of your greatness? You are a decent person. Why are you, like that's hard to hear and absorb sometimes. So yes, it is, they work, but you got to stay consistently doing them.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is that consistency, is that, yes, it feels weird. There's some people that use, Post-its on the mirror. So every morning they have that and they just kind of read it out loud. But what happens is, I feel like the more often you do something, the more convinced you become of that thing. So you're talking, in our previous episodes, Kim talked about, kind of what is that who is that voice that you hear in your head? And counteracting that does help with saying things that you may not believe up front, right? So you may not believe that, this project or piece of work that you're putting out is one of the best works that have been in the 21st century, right? You may not believe that at first, but you continue to tell yourself that, and you continue to talk that talk. You become convinced of that, and not just conceited of it. It's a statement, period, not a question. You don't need any validation because that's what you know in your head. So it's that's how you counteract with affirmations. It's just that continued positive self-talk, and those thoughts are going to come up. Right? We can't help it. We're human. Those thoughts, but what are you saying in the counteraction? Right? Once you identify that this is something negative, I'm thinking about myself and my skills and abilities. You have to immediately combat that with a positive. Somebody else is doing this, and it looks like they're doing it better. They may have been doing it longer, so they have had a lot more experience and practice, but I'm going to get that same experience and practice, and I'm going to be great too. Those are the kind of things that you have to train your mind to continue to do. And it will be hard. It'll sound funny. It'll sound foreign. But then once you get it, you'll be like, you'll start regurgitating it verbally to people. You'll be like, oh shit, where'd that come from? Oh, I meant it.
I watched a video this morning and they were talking about how dedication is what leads people to perceive, like, to have success. And I was like, I don't necessarily get that. But they were talking about working out. Like, you work out one day, an hour, you go and you look in the mirror, you're not going to see anything. But if you work out every day, 20 minutes over the course of time, you're going to see some changes. Same thing with brushing your teeth. They were like, if you go to the dentist 2 times a year, your teeth are going to fall out. But you have to maintain whatever is being done at those appointments every day for 2 minutes, usually twice a day, if you're doing your good dental care. So I say all that to say, it is about wellness. It is about making it a part of your day-to-day activity. What do you do for yourself every day that pours into you? Because that's your responsibility. That is not your kids. That is not your spouse. That is your responsibility to pour into yourself positively. So for me, positive affirmations, positive self-talk, self-care, those are things that are very important because that helps me maintain me. So again, mindfulness is something that I practice pretty much all the time. Now, I'm not practicing it for any one particular reason, but I just make sure I just stay mindful because that means I'm present. That means I'm here. That means I'm not in the past or in the future. So we're saying things that we have said in episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're coming back and it's coming full circle, you guys. So stay with us. The next way they said to combat imposter syndrome is around the reframing of your thoughts, which we just kind of touched on. So we don't have to go full deep into that from the article that I found. But positive reframe is so important. We don't have losses, we have lessons. There's always something to be learned. If you win every time, people that win, they just go in and they like, it was a win. They don't critique the win. And I've even had to go back and critique the wins, not in a negative way, but what could I have done better in execution? But it's in the lessons, or some people call them losses, where you're able to get a little bit more of a positive reframe. So positive reframe is very important.
Yeah. They said one of the videos, it was that thinking negatively first is like a survival tactic. And so it's just like, why is it that, what are we protecting ourselves from? That's what we really got to think about, is that if our first instinct is always to go to the negative part, right? What are you trying to protect yourself from by thinking that, initially? But one thing they did say is that you must make a conscious effort to redirect your energy and engage in activities that help you be at peace. So that's like those mental activities, that's those positive activities for sure. So yeah.
The last protective factor or area that they touched on was your support system. You have to have people that you can go back to, your accountability partners. Some people call your tribe. We don't mean any offense by that, but I call it my family. Like, there's people that I can go back to and just be 100% vulnerable, and they can give me feedback like, Kim, you're being hard on yourself. Kim, you're right on track. Let's process this, or whatever the situation may be. We talk about the importance of having a support system, accountability partners in so many episodes. And little did we know that all of it was coming up to this point. But it's so super important for you to have people that are not just yes men.
Right. That, you see them celebrities that they got yes men around them. That's all they got around them. They got nobody calling them on their shit. And that's what we need. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm so glad that this video, I mean, like, y'all don't see the video. We have the video. But yeah, I see it the most with athletes. I'm like, you can't bring everybody with you, baby. Because not everybody, you sacrificing your whole body. And this person doesn't even have enough, they can't even be your fall. But okay, that's not, I can go there. But they're not keeping you from that chaos. They're enabling you in that chaos because they're your yes man. They're not thinking about you longevity wise. And again, everybody serves a purpose. Everybody serves a purpose. There may be a person that you can only call for the turn up. You're going to come out and support my event because I can call you for the turn up. But you may not be dependable to man the RSVP list. That may not be your strength, sis, but you're going to be the turn up. You're going to post it on the Instagrams and the Facebooks and all the social medias for me. So that's what your role is in this particular situation.
Right.
Everybody serves a purpose, but you got to know that you can't do everything with everybody.
Right. At all. And the key, I mean, going back, the key is just to talk about it. I think if we hold stuff in too much and we don't necessarily talk about it. So you have to have, in addition, that person that you can go to and say, this is how I'm feeling about, this situation or what I'm doing. Am I crazy or am I right? Because somebody, you may be doing something and you're thinking like, I'm not really qualified. And you have that friend that's like, you probably not. You probably need to do a little more experience. And then, to validate, but you can still get there. And what happens is, when you have those people when you start talking about it and really bringing it to the light, you start to collect feedback. And that's feedback that you can reuse when you're by yourself. You can just reuse that positive feedback and learn from other shared feelings and learn from others, because you could come and say, I was feeling this kind of way. And the other person's like, me too, but this is what I did in order to combat that. These are the things that help me. So you can use that, all becomes tools in your bag to be able to use when the imposter syndrome becomes too much or something like that for you, right? So that's why it's so important to have those people around you to be able to talk to be able to share that information with.
I think we done kicked it in. Nikki, what are your thoughts?
There were some other key points on another article I was reading when it said you got to make the decision to be confident. Confidence doesn't always just come out of nowhere and smack you in the face and you're like, bam, I'm confident. Sometimes you have to make that decision. So it kind of goes back to those affirmations that may be difficult for you to say. But before, like I said, it helps build up that confidence, and that you convince yourself and other people that your talents are worth it. Your successes aren't just a fluke. Or aren't just luck, but you really have to make that decision to be confident. I want to say the other day, I looked at my husband and I was just like, you know what? I did the damn thing. Like, I just had to say it. We weren't even talking about nothing. I was just like, I done made this and I put this together and I did that. I'm proud of myself. Like, I did that. Like, I had to make the conscious effort to say it. Like, I was thinking it in my head, but I had to say it out loud in order for me to be really convinced. And he was like, you did, So it's that thing you have to decide today. Yeah, I'm going to be confident in what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm going to be convinced in my skills and ability. And yeah, there might be other people out there doing it, and other people like their skills or ability, whatever they're doing or product or service a little bit better than mine, but I still got clients. I still got an audience.
Yeah.
You got to remind yourself, and I wrote this down, that you are a bad mother or a bad bitch, right?
Come on, Samuel L. Jackson. Come on.
I'm a potty mouth this time. And it's like, yeah. And sometimes you have to convince yourself more than you have to convince others. Because once you know it, it don't matter, because you're going to exude that your light, your aura, the things that you're going to start attracting are really going to come based off of how you're feeling on the inside. So
you all, you have opportunities, right?
Right.
If you have an opportunity to take pause and reset yourself, my gosh. Okay, I'm about to go somewhere. Nikki don't know where I'm going, but I'm going. So I don't know how many of y'all have had a colonoscopy. We're getting up there in age. Whatever. And they give you some stuff to clear you out. If you've ever had one, if you know, I'm praying for you. I am yet praying. And so I remember I had the procedure and I was like, I'm only going to put great things in my body because I knew I didn't have nothing else in there, right? Because everything had left. And so I was like, I'm going to be like vegan and I'm going to do all this. It didn't work out for the best, but I'm saying all that to say what you put in, what you ingest on a daily basis, it really can stick with you. And I've noticed that being more mindful about the content that you ingest, who you follow on your social media, what type of music you listen to, what type of books you read, what you're watching on television, it can make an influence on you. And then it can increase certain feelings and decrease other feelings, good, bad, or indifferent. So I say all that to say, you have to be mindful of what it is you're ingesting. That it also is your self-talk, your self-esteem, your self-worth, those things that you tell yourself in the moments of chaos, the things that you tell yourself in the moments of secrecy. These are all the things that are going to help you grow or keep you stagnant, so just keep that part in mind. You had some good points from your article, Nikki. What else was you feeling?
Well, I mean, it's just, that was just, you got to continue to do on and stop beating yourself up. If you are one of those people, I'm raising my hand, I'm exposing myself right now. When I tell you, when I make a mistake in any aspect, especially, my job, home life, as a mother, as a wife, as an entrepreneur, when I make a mistake, when I tell you I am the hardest person on myself and I internalize it. So for those, I know I'm speaking to some of y'all out there, it's just like you harp on it. You really get some anxiety around why the mistake was made. How could you do that? You're better than that, rather than saying, I'm human. I know how to adjust. I mean, it's a lesson rather than a loss. You are that type of person that really beats yourself up. It's like, why did I do that? Like truly beating yourself up about a mistake. You probably got imposter syndrome a little bit. That's one of the things that how it shows up in your life. And you may not think that, but you have to stop yourself in those thoughts and that process. You really got to just say, shit, I fucked up.
Right.
Yeah, I can fix it, use it as a lesson for the next time that if this comes up, I bet you one thing, I'm not going to do it again, or, maybe another fuck up, but it's easing that gas or that foot off your own neck, right? Because that's how sometimes we don't realize that is that kind of imposter syndrome, because you think that you have to be perfect. It's back to that perfectionism that Kim was talking about before. So Kim, let me tell you something. I be beating myself the hell up over stuff. And that is one of the things that has continued to work on, and just to know that there is no such thing as perfection. So,
and again, this is why we're going to give y'all a whole nother season. Y'all didn't know that y'all wanted that. We didn't know that we wanted that. And yet and still, here it is right here for us to talk about, because with imposter syndrome being a shared experience of a lot of people, let's talk about it. Because if that's the thing that's keeping you from greatness, imagine if everybody was operating in their purpose. Now, look, my purpose does not necessarily pay my 9 to 5, but I feel like my 9 to 5 pays for my lifestyle. My purpose gives me, a lot of different fulfillment, but it doesn't pay right now. And that's okay. Hence I said right now, and that's okay. So I feel like, we need to acknowledge who we are and where we want to be, but we have to acknowledge these things that are keeping us from our greatness. And if imposter syndrome is one of them, and I think in the second season, we may also bring upon this new concept called languishing. Y'all, it's new. COVID done helped it give it a name. But languishing and imposter syndrome are actually kind of tied together, which just dropping these little nuggets for season 2. So I have hit all of my little Cliffy notes. I encourage for everyone to go back and listen to, if you're listening to these all at once, you the bomb, okay? If you're listening to these one by one, I hope you were taking notes. I mean, all across the board, taking notes, because you'll see a lot of these themes tie into each other, you guys. this has just been such a super dope journey.
Yeah. So just to recap that video, that 6 signs of so signs that you know that you may have imposter syndrome. 1, your success, you feel like your success is not deserved. It's just pure luck. If you're a perfectionist, and sometimes one thing that they put on there was a procrastinator. You may have imposter syndrome. You're afraid of being exposed as a fake. You have a fear of failure. You need to be the best and always compete with the best, and you compare your success to others. These are all kind of signs of imposter syndrome. And it, again, like we said, it shows up in different areas of your life, but there's ways to combat that, as we talked about. It's just talking about it, making sure that you have that positive self-talk, affirmations, getting back into your mind and making sure that you are not speaking negatively in negativity. And I'm a person of the power of the tongue, right? And the thoughts that whatever you say, it's kind of what you attract. What you're thinking is what you attract. And if you can change all of that to start attracting wealth and positivity and all of that, and so you start speaking those things into your life, it does happen, right? There's things. And then also, if you say that this is what you want, one thing I would say, one of our friends last year, she said, these are the things that I want. I want X, Y, and Z is now happening. And it didn't happen last year. It's happening this year. And everything has been placed in a certain order because she spoke it with her tongue and believed it when she said it. So those are the kind of things that, how the power of the tongue and all of that stuff. And it, on the reverse side, I'm not this type of person. I cannot do this. I cannot do that. I don't have the skills and ability. You keep saying that and you keep thinking, allowing your thoughts to kind of fester in that. You're not going to be that person. Straight up. You're not going to be the best person. You're not going to be skilled. You're not going to be a good person. Whatever it is that you're thinking, whatever you think or whatever you speak, good or bad, it's true, right? So think about that, y'all. When you really like self-talk, when you're doubting yourself that much, you might be that because that's what you're thinking, right?
And that's what you're calling out. That is what you're speaking into existence. I mean, again, homie is over there on some good stuff. I feel like if we keep talking, if I start talking again, y'all, we're gonna be here, and this is just and we won't have a season 2. We'll just have a documentary. I don't know. At the end of the day, I thank y'all for coming. I thank y'all for listening. I thank y'all for rocking with us. We got one more episode to record, and I don't know if that episode is probably going to be episode 1 versus the end episode. So this little convo may make it, may not. But if you all have rocked with us for this long through this, please understand that this is a manifestation of what we had talked about so many moons ago in Camphor 314, Dillard University,
DU,
all of 2001. Y'all don't even know. We weren't supposed to be doing this, but 151 dominoes and beats.
It wasn't mad though. What's that sweet drink?
Cisco. Mad Dog 2020 and Cisco. We were thugs, but that was when the hustle started. Remember the Jello shots, homie? Yeah. Yes. That was when the hustle started. Y'all can't come back and do nothing because it's been what's that when the illegalness has happened and it ages out.
Freestyles. Remember our freestyles and raps? Don't shimmy off ices.
Dang, homie, we was on them straight. But it was then sitting back and just talking into existence greatness. Sitting back, not really knowing what we were destined, but we had it, So we just thank y'all for rocking with us and seeing this come to fruition with us. This is dope.
Yeah, and so much more to come. And like Kim said, season 2, we're going to dive deep into this imposter. We're going to bring on some people to kind of talk about it and how it shows up not only in your hustle, in your 9 to 5, in your relationships, in any aspect, health, wealth, how it affects your wealth, how it affects your success and progress. So, I mean, this is only the beginning. We just scratched the surface of a lot of these topics, and we hope we read you really well so that so that, it opens up some conversations. I really hope that these topics have opened up conversations between you and your community of people who we talked about that are, part of that are close to you, Take these topic area, these subject areas and y'all discuss it. And we'd love to hear, what you guys came up with. Like follow us on Instagram, Psychology of the Hustle. Shoot us a note, a DM.
Yeah.
And just let us know, because it's really about the conversation.
Right.
And Kim was right. This was something that we had talked about and been talking about. And so for us, it's come to fruition. We don't talk about it, be about it. And that's what we did.
Facts. Okay, y'all. So that's all. That's it. That's all we got for y'all in this season.
Period.
Thanks. So at the end of the day, I know y'all are doing okay, but I hope you're well in your head and your heart. I thank you all for coming and fellowshipping with us today and doing this with us today. And we look forward to y'all. Nikki?
Peace.
Choosing a tuition-free K-12 powered online school with career prep electives can be the choice that gives your high schooler a strong foundation for the jobs of tomorrow. With career pathways in high-demand fields, students gain real-world skills that help them get ahead right out of high school. K-12 powered career prep students leave high school more than ready for their future.
You're automatically entered for a chance to grab as much cash as you can from a pool full of $3 million. We're calling it
As a parent, no 2 days are ever the same. At Care.com, you can find trusted and flexible sitters to help manage your family's ever-changing schedule. Care.com can even help you out with housekeepers, dog walkers, senior caregivers, and more, so you can find care for all you love. And 100% of caregivers who use Care.com have been background checked with CareCheck, a key first step in hiring confidently. To get the help you need to make it all work, sign up now and find a great sitter at Care.com.
This is the FCB Radio Network, home of the best personalities and where real talk lives. Online at fcbradio.com. FCB.
What's going on? You tuned into another hot episode of The Jeff Brown Show, and I am your host. I am the Jeff Brown of The Jeff Brown Show, and I got my partner in crime with me as always. We call him Mr. Liberty. We call him Reverend Do Wrong, but today, he's Reverend Do Right. That's my guy, man. The guy who helps me co-produce the show. We put some great content together, and we bring some of the top elite guests on our show, on our platform, and we just have a good time. But none other than my man, Mr. Darvio Morrow, the kingpin himself of FCB Radio Network and FCB everything we do. How about that?
What's up, brother? What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm doing good, man. I want to first give my condolences to you, man. Big shout out to you and your family on the passing of your aunt and your best friend, man. You've been in my prayers, brother. So I know
appreciate
it's been
that.
a tough couple of weeks for you, man. But I salute you because you continue to push forward and you continue to do your thing, man. So you're in my prayers, and it's all love, man. And we know that God does everything well. We may not understand it, but I just want you to know that God is still in control, and He loves you. He loves your family, man. So I wanted to get that out there so people know what time it is on that. Now,
I appreciate that.
Oh, man, no problem. But I want to get back to our special guest. We're opening up with our special guest, Miss Shrita Karthan of the Karthan Consulting Group and the creator, the mindset, the brains behind the Power Brand Conference and Expo. That's breaking news right here on the Jeff Brown Show. So I am happy that this is happening because I got a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs that listen to the show. And you, Sharita, got a message for them. Thank you, Sharita, for coming on the show and sharing this extraordinary information.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Jeff. Is it Darvio? Did I say that right?
It's Reverend Durong.
Reverend Durong.
You got it right, Darvio.
Okay, that's Reverend Durong. Okay. Well, he's gonna be Reverend Durong today. Okay, so we right today. Thank you guys for having me on here. I completely appreciate the time, the energy, and the spaces that you guys are taking to not only help and assist entrepreneurs, business owners, and creatives to really take their brand and their marketing to the next level, but just being able to provide this platform. So kudos to you guys. Thank you so much. So let me get into this because I really need to just really get to the good stuff. So everyone, I am Sharita Carthon. My company is Carthon Consulting Group. And before the pandemic, we did a project called the Power Brand Summit. And we brought together entrepreneurs, small business owners who really needed to understand better methods and ways to market their brand and also to monetize. And so enters the pandemic. So we got kicked out for a good 2 years because we just wanted to keep things safe. But now we're getting to the point where people are asking a new set of questions because the algorithm through social media is just really kicking people out in a way that is not allowing them to do business online be like it was before the pandemic. And so people are having questions like, how am I going to be able to reach my target market and be able to connect with them in a way that I did before the pandemic and before all of these algorithm changes? And so me and my team got together, we started to strategize, and we started to realize that there were also companies and organizations on the other end of the foot who offer monetization programs, financing programs. And we're not talking about just like the government checks and PPP loans and stuff like that. These are organizations who really have financial income for creatives and entrepreneurs and small business owners, specifically MWBE, minority-owned, women-owned businesses that is out there and no one has absolutely no clue about. And so my biggest passion is being able to see projects from entrepreneurs get greenlit and have creative financing and financing from resources that they did not know exist. And bringing those two parties together. So what you're going to see at the Power Brand Conference is called Beyond the Algorithm. It is going to be Saturday, September the 17th. Saturday, September the 17th. You are going to see those marketing firms, those monetization experts. You're going to see financing companies. You're going to see people who offer services, marketing services, photography services, videography, anything that helps someone to either get clarity for their brand, build their brand from the ground up and get it monetized, or people are going to literally be connecting with organizations, angel investors, business finance teams who literally have money on the table, you know. This is what this conference is about. And our core sponsor is American Express, okay? American Express is literally like giving away. They want to see 8,000 creatives and entrepreneurs in the building. Like, they are dead serious. Their core goal is to get entrepreneurs and creatives, get them financing, whether it be through what we're doing through the conference, or get them financing with credit cards, or get them financing with loans, or whatever it is that they're saying, hey, how do we need to play a part to make sure that financing is available for these projects?
So let me ask you a question. I know I'm sorry we have some technical difficulty, but I'm hoping that you all can hear me. And so with the creatives, you have some people that say, hey, you know, how am I able to obtain, you know, not just the funding resources, or do they have to have a certain type of credit? If they have to have a certain type of business model set up, you know, how does that work, Sharita? Because this is huge. You're talking about 8,000 business owners under one venue. Now this is going to be where?
This is going to be at Tower City, Cleveland. So downtown Tower City, Cleveland. We are going to pack that out, not only with vendors, but we are also transforming some of those spaces into an actual conference center, which has never happened before. Yeah, wow. We're really doing it. We're really doing it dope. But yes, it is at Tower City Center on September the 7th.
Yeah, this is dope because, again, you don't see this a lot, though. You don't see this. This is like next level, like Las Vegas, New York type. And this will be the first of its kind here in Cleveland, I'm assuming.
That is
okay.
Correct.
So how are people able to register to be a part of this, you know, the business owners, and what do you want them to do as they register, you know, to get the word out? What is it that you're going to be doing so they can connect with you to help, you know, make this thing a success? Because to me, it's already a success with what you have, with what you're connecting with. And to have American Express on is dope. So how do people connect?
So there are several ways that people can connect. First of all, if you just want to attend the expo, we ask that you register, okay? And so the way that you can register is basically one way is to go to our website, powerbrandexpo.com. There is a link that says free ticket, okay? I actually have physical tickets here. We can come to you if you need a ticket. We have plenty, okay? We have to get 8,000 people registered because we want to know, and American Express wants to know and to see that that there's a need, okay? The second thing you can do is become a vendor, okay? Become a vendor. Vendor spaces are open right now on the website at powerbrandexpo.com. People can go in, select the type of booth they want to get, purchase it right then and there, lock it in now because those spaces are going to go quickly. Also at the end of so in a couple of days, we will actually open up registration for 250 spots only for people to attend the keynote speeches and also the breakout sessions. So you can also get more education. There are also people who just say, hey, I just want to build my brand. So we have packages for them as well. You will be able to not only create content for your YouTube channel, for your website, but you will also be able to have full-on photo shoots. We are going to have photographers and videographers from all across the nation to come down and assist people with that process. So yeah, it's literally going to feel like the Vegas of branding and marketing once you walk into Tower City. We can't wait.
Well, listen, I want you to stay right there. We'll be right back. Hey, Darville, I didn't know if you had any questions or anything like that for our guests, but I think this is amazing. I think this is dope.
Yeah, we got to go to break, though. We'll do it on the other side.
We'll do it on the other side. Hey, listen, go subscribe right now to the Jeff Brown Show on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast on your favorite listening device. Listen, I'm with my girl, Sharita Carthon. They're making it happen right now. Make sure you guys register in the next few days for the Power Brand Conference and Expo, September 17th. I believe that's the correct date. And listen, we'll be right back with more of my girl, Sharita Carthon, making it happen, making dreams become reality. We'll be right back.
As a parent, no 2 days are ever the same. At Care.com, you can find trusted and flexible sitters to help manage your family's ever-changing schedule. Care.com can even help you out with housekeepers, dog walkers, senior caregivers, and more, so you can find care for all you love. And 100% of caregivers who use Care.com have been background checked with CareCheck, a key first step in hiring confidently. To get the help you need to make it all work, sign up now and find a great sitter at Care.com.
Hey, Hey, Georgia, the Cash 3 promotion is back by popular demand, May 30th through June 26th. Yep, 333 players will win $333 just by playing Cash 3. But there's more. When you enter to win, you're automatically entered for a chance to grab as much cash as you can from a pool full of $3 million. We're calling it the Cash Clutch. And it all happens May 30th to June 26th. So play Cash 3 from the Georgia Lottery. Play responsibly.
These days, it seems like everybody's talking, but no one is actually listening to the things they're saying. Critical thinking isn't dead, but it's definitely low on oxygen. Join me, Kira Davis, on Just Listen to Yourself every week as we reason through issues big and small, critique our own ideas, and learn to draw our talking points all the way out to their logical conclusions. Subscribe to Just Listen to Yourself with Kira Davis, an FCB radio podcast on Apple, on Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the Jeff Brown Show.
And we're back. Hey, listen, we're talking with the brand marketing strategist, actually celebrity brand marketing strategist. Let me correct myself. Sharita, you deal with celebrities. You talk to so many people. Outside of the issue of the algorithm, as seem like everything is streamed, is on social media, what are you seeing that the celebrities are seeing where they want to support of local businesses, small business owners? Where's a disconnect between the celebrities that you work with and the average person who has a business that is trying to reach that level?
That is an amazing question. With celebrities, we sometimes mistake and think that every single celebrity that we see are balling out of control, or that they have tons of money, or that they have made a song and they're completely made. And the truth is opposite, right? Because when you're actually connecting with celebrities and you're actually having real conversations with them, they are also trying to find creative ways to monetize. They're also trying to find creative ways to make money outside of film projects, outside of music projects. And so this is an ongoing conversation, and they are also being heavily affected by not being able to reach their target audience. I have one celebrity, I won't, mention her name, but she was literally, her daughter just came out with a product line and she was trying to promote that product line and only got 15 views, but she has over 600,000 followers that did not get an opportunity to see that content. So that would have allowed her daughter to make money. And so now she's, we're having conversations of, okay, what other ways can I monetize? What other ways can I get to my target market? Because the algorithm is kicking me out. And so we think that just because we're creators or entrepreneurs, that celebrities are not having the same issues, and they very much are. And so we have celebrities coming down like Lamar Odom, like Brayley Evans. We have contract talks with Les Brown right now. Just really, these are people who are well known in the industry who wholeheartedly support this cause. Because it's a problem all the way around. And again, I feel like if there is creative financing or there's marketing strategies that are out there that people don't know about that could literally yield to monetization, then we need to bring everyone in the same room, have a really great conversation, and make those connections. So it's something that can continue, not past the conference, but for years to come.
Wow. Darby, do you have anything? Because I know your mind be twisting and turning.
Yeah. So obviously we've been having quite a few conversations about, social media and the impact and the algorithms and things like that. Do you believe that the market, using social media as a tool, is it too saturated now? Is it, does the algorithms make it, almost impossible, or are there still ways to be able to use social media to promote and monetize?
I believe that there's always a place for social media in the marketplace because it's what people are used to. It is oversaturated to a very good point, but I would say that if you're consistent and you understand who your target market is, continue to use social media. But now we're looking at opportunities for people to have apps, for people to connect via text message. The best thing to be is in your target market's back pocket. We're always on our phone. And so again, this conference is going to be a way for us to just kind of figure out new and innovative ways outside of social media so that we can continue to connect with our audiences and also make money, because if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense, period.
Well, listen, Sharita, all good things must come to an end, but guess what? I'm glad this is not the end. This is only the beginning. Do me a favor. Drop all your social media handles, your contact information, so people can register. Listen, everybody, listen. I need y'all to register today. Don't play around. Expand your business. This is an opportunity for you to grow and take your business to the next level. So, Sharita, drop that info for us.
It is powerbrandexpo.com. When you go there, hit the free ticket. Even if you're going to Vend, hit the free ticket, because that is what we need to see to let these financiers know that you exist. If you need money, if you need marketing help, if you need to build your brand from the bottom up, we won't know unless you're registered. So powerbrandexpo.com, free ticket. If you are a vendor, now we are taking specific type of vendors. We're looking for photographers, videographers, hairstylists, right? Barbers, anyone that helps to build your brand, makeup artists, t-shirt makers. So if you make t-shirts for other companies, we need you to be a vendor. So it's not your typical people who do makeup and, lip gloss and just candles. We actually need specific type of vendors, because you are going to be in direct connection with the audience that needs your help the most.
There you have it. Listen, hey, make sure y'all go register. She just dropped the information. This is my friend, my sister. This woman is doing some amazing things. She is also instrumental in some things that I'm doing as well in my business and my brand. This woman is amazing what she does. Listen, this is my sister. I'll tap in with Sharita Carthon. It is the Power Brand Conference Expo. You do not want to miss this opportunity to change your business structure and to enhance your business. Listen, we'll be right back with more of the Jeff Brown Show. Go subscribe right now.
Hey, Georgia, the Cash 3 promotion is back by popular demand, May 30th through June 26th. Yep, 333 players will win $333 just by playing Cash 3. But there's more. When you enter to win, you're automatically entered for a chance to grab as much cash as you can from a pool full of $3 million. We're calling it the Cash Clutch. And it all happens May 30th to June 26th. So play Cash 3 from the Georgia Lottery. Play responsibly.
Hurry into Mattress Firm. For a limited time, save up to $500 when you get a king bed for the price of a queen or a queen for a twin. Plus, get a free adjustable base with qualifying Sealy purchases, up to a $499 value. Or get up to 60% off America's top-rated brands, like Sealy Queen mattresses starting at $279.99 or Sleepy's at $169.99. In stock for fast delivery, only at Mattress Firm. Restrictions apply. See store or mattressfirm.com for details.
This is the Jeff Brown Show.
And we're back, man. Listen, dope show today. Man, it's good. So listen, again, to all the entrepreneurs, business entrepreneurs, please get signed up, get registered for the Power Brand Conference and Expo. You do not want to miss this opportunity. Reach out to Sharita Carthon on Facebook, social media, Instagram. Connect with her, please, because you want to be a part of this major event. And this is going to be good for businesses. It's going to be good for the city. And if you're a business owner, you need exposure. You need to have the exposure outside of what the normality is, okay? You need something that's going to push your brand. This is the Brand Pushers Conference. If you want your brand to expand, if you want your brand to reach new heights, you want your brand to get the tools and access to the tools that makes it better, this is where you want to be on September 17th. Okay. I'm telling you, you do not want to miss it. You know, I think that's a good thing too for us too, Darville. And you're a business owner like myself, man. We are indulged in different businesses outside of, you know, entertainment, you know, broadcasting. And we know what it takes to run a business. We know what it takes, the pressures of trying to make sure that we beat our monthly budgets, our weekly budgets, in most cases, right? And you need that extra push.
Yeah. And you can never get too much information. Like, you always want as much information as you can to be able to make sure you're staying on top of your game.
Yeah, and the other thing about it is they're also going to be giving out some funding and money, man, donating, you know, and investing into small businesses. So, I mean, come on, man. It don't get no better than that. And you got American Express behind it. It don't get no better than that.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, and here's the other part about it. This is a Black woman who had a vision and a dream, and we're watching her execute that. This is what she does. So why not support? And I know how you are, Darville, about supporting Black-owned businesses, the whole nine, man. So I already know how you are. I know what that means to you as a business owner. You know what I'm saying? So this is the time for our community to come together, man. Business entrepreneurs, the whole nine. Invite. It's so many business people here in the greater Cleveland area. Even if you are not here, if you're in Sacramento, California, you want to fly in for that weekend, come on in. They got a big event planned that weekend. I'm telling you, it's gonna be life changing. I don't care where you're listening from. Make sure you be here September 17th. Okay, that's where you want to be. So, with that said, I just want to get into a little bit of celebrity news and gossip. They were talking about the Met Gala that just happened several weeks ago. They were talking about the Kim Kardashian had wore the iconic dress that Marilyn Monroe wore, and I believe that was that for President Kennedy's birthday bash. I believe it was. I think it was. I
think it was. It was either way. It was something. She was out here having a hot girl summer, so it might have been for the birthday or something.
Whatever it was, that's definitely true with that. Well, the designer of that dress, of the iconic dress, recently commented or tweeted that he wished that Kim had not worn the dress because the dress was customized for Marilyn Monroe. She's the only one that could actually bring that dress to life. Said that Kim Kardashian, or anybody for that matter, could not wear the dress and bring out the energy of that dress that Marilyn Monroe had when she wore it. So, Kim Kardashian, she said she lost like 16 pounds just to fit the dress. So,
yeah, as a matter of fact, that was just while you were talking.
That's just kind of that's interesting. You know what I mean?
I wanted to Google it while you were talking to see what it looked like.
Yeah, definitely Google it. Meanwhile, her sister just got married to Travis Barker.
Congratulations to her. But Kim don't look bad in that dress. But hey, it is what it is.
Hey, man, listen. At the end of the day, man, the Kardashians are everywhere, man. Whether people like them or not, that their brand is strong. You just got to give it to them, man. Chris, allegedly pimped.
Talking about marketing, they're smart marketers.
Yeah, their mother is a genius. Listen, she allegedly pimped out her daughter, allegedly. And that decision made them a household name, man. One sex tape changed their whole life, man.
Changed their whole life.
Can you imagine?
You ain't getting me, bro.
I'm just saying, man. I mean, I'm just saying it did, though. Also, man, I gotta talk about this real quick, man, before we go. This past weekend, I'm at a prestigious shopping what we call it, a shopping outdoor mall. It's not even it's just what we call that. It's whatever. It's a great place to be. If you got money, you work hard, middle class, upper class. It's a great place to go spend money, have dinner. Yeah. I'm at this place called Pinecrest. And I'm there, and a fight breaks out at one of the restaurants there called the Shake Shack.
So you were there when the fight happened?
I was.
Oh my goodness.
I'm in the place. So listen, I'm in the place, and I'm there with my former co-host Sassy. Big shout out to her. Also, big shout out to Mama Lewis, Sassy mom, whose birthday just celebrated her birthday as well.
Happy birthday, Mama Lewis.
Yeah, so I'm there with Sassy, one of my good brother, my god brother Steve, and Sassy's sister, and her sister actually had her grandbaby with her. Grandbaby like 1 year old, 2 years old, or something like that. But anyway, brawl breaks out, scared the baby half to death. I mean, baby just going crazy and everything. Come to find out that this has been a chain of this has been a problem in Pinecrest. And the day before that, which was Friday, it was worse. Talking to the police officer and young police officer there. And he said, hey, man, yesterday was worse. I'm like, yesterday was worse. And so I made a post about this because as a Black man, I feel that real quick before we get out of here, that we have to take responsibility for our community. We can't always say, well, that community, well, what about the other community? White folks doing this person doing that. It ain't about that. It's about taking real responsibility when we see wrong in our community. And for me, this is not about race. This is about changing or infecting positive change in a generation that is fearless. They have no respect for authority. They have no respect they don't even have fear of dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have no fear, man. And the question is, how do we save the generation that is to come? And one of the things I say is that these parents that are the parents of this generation, they have to step up and take responsibility and be more involved and hold their kids accountable. I know growing up, when I was coming up, Darville, real talk, my mother didn't play that. I was a perfect kid. But my mother put the fear of God in. And even at being 42, June 8th, thank you, I still have a reverence for my mother and a reverence for seniors and elders that we do not see in our younger generation. Mm-hmm. It's scary, man. We're seeing this generation rob our elders. They shooting babies. They doing all kinds of stuff. And we have to figure out how to intervene and grab a hold of this generation. Because, man, if this is what they're doing, and here's the thing, every kid ain't bad. Let me say that. Because we got some good kids that are doing some great things. But we're seeing a lot more of the negative than we're seeing of the good. And we have to stop shunning on the kids that are doing good and stop putting it on the forefront of the kids that are shooting and killing and robbing and stealing. I said personally what they should do is take all these badass kids and send them over to Ukraine. That's what I said personally. Round them up. Don't even send them to prison. Don't let the taxpayers pay for that. Send their ass over there to Ukraine. And since they big and bad, send them over there. Let them be humble. Let them see what real death looks like. Maybe that'll shape them up. But if you don't shape up, you got to ship out. So I don't know if you had anything you want to add to that, Darby, but that's pretty much it. We got to, I want to see better change in our community, man, with our children.
Yeah, we gotta get these kids, man. I mean, Now, you and I, we're in roughly the same age group. And our generation, we was wild. But these cats out here now,
it's a different breed.
There's no code, there's no honor, there's no fear, there's no respect, no reverence, nothing. Like when you're not afraid to die, that's a dangerous person. Because most normal people are either afraid to go to jail or afraid to die. One or the other. And if you're not afraid to go to jail and you're not afraid to die, you ain't afraid of neither one, that's a dangerous person there. So we as a community have got to figure out how we can wrap our arms around these kids and get this under control, because
we'll be sending them to Ukraine. Ukraine needs some help.
You know, military life may not be a bad thing for some of them. They may need that.
Badasses over there. They want to tear up everything.
Yeah, that'll give them some discipline and put them in the military.
Right. Well, listen, as the show comes to an end, Darbio, what did you learn today, man?
I learned that you would be the worst drill sergeant ever in the military.
Right. I wouldn't train them nothing. I'll be sending their asses right over there. Go on. Streets trained, y'all. Go on over there. Y'all got hood training. You got some tribal training. Well, you know what I learned today?
What'd you learn?
That if I was an elected official in Congress, that I would put forth a bill to send all the bad kids to Ukraine or to any type of war to help fight the enemy. Help.
Understood.
So don't elect me as no official, because I'm sending your kids overseas. I'm putting the bill on the floor. To hell with it. Ain't no sense of letting them terrorize our community. Let them terrorize the Russians.
I guarantee you it'll pass too.
Hey, do you think that would pass?
Bipartisan support, bro.
That's crazy. For real, man. They should consider that. For real. I ain't just talking about black kids, though. I'm talking about any bad kid. I don't care what your race is.
Because it ain't just black kids that's out here acting a fool.
Yeah, man. Send them all over there. Send them. Even, those that are, over here causing ruckus and ain't doing the right thing, ain't trying to do the right, send their ass and send them all over there. Send them. give them a uniform. Give them a gun. Let them go to war, man. Send them. Straighten them up. Just drop them off over there.
On this one, my brother, I think I agree.
Yeah, man. So listen, y'all, this has been another informative, fun show. Listen, today is dedicated to all our business entrepreneurs and to our communities, man, that are experiencing tough times and may have lost a loved one. Listen, man, we're praying for you. Keep your head up. Stay strong. Be encouraged. Brighter days are ahead. And to all the kids out there that's terrorizing everybody, I think we're going to vote to send y'all to Ukraine. So straighten up. God bless. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.
The FCB Radio Network. First class broadcasting worldwide.
Hey, Georgia. The Cash 3 promotion is back by popular demand. May 30th through June 26th. Yep, 333 players will win $333 just by playing Cash 3. But there's more. When you enter to win, you're automatically entered for a chance to grab as much cash as you can from a pool full of $3 million. We're calling it the Cash Clutch. And it all happens May 30th to June 26th. So play Cash 3 from the Georgia Lottery. Play responsibly.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
The pandemic has been hard on all our kids. New studies show more than 1 in 3 children who started school in the pandemic now need intensive reading help. That's right. Millions of kids in kindergarten through 3rd grade in the United States cannot read at grade level. Here's the good news. Your child can be reading in just 30 days, guaranteed, with Hooked on Phonics. Even if your child has been struggling, Hooked on Phonics will teach your child to read in just 30 days, guaranteed. And right now, you can get started for just $1. Text the word GRADE to 323232 right now. Hooked on Phonics is highly effective and incredibly fun, and everything can be done right from home and in less than 20 minutes a day for more than 30 years. Hooked on Phonics has been the proven learn-to-read program that kids love to use. Text GRADE to 323232 and teach your child to read in just 30 days, guaranteed. Text GRADE to 323232 right now and get started for just $1. Text GRADE to 323232 now. Text GRADE to 323232.
This week's episode has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.